Peg Raney, Molly Cunningham. Why does Jefferson matter to you?
Jefferson matters. I've often wondered how long you need to be here in order to call it home. I've only been here 48 years, and I only spent, my first 18 years in my hometown. So Jefferson is my home. It's the place where we have lived the entire time in one house, out on a farm. We have raised our children. I taught in the school system. Jefferson matters to me because it's my home.
Jefferson matters because it's where my family is. It's where my loved ones are. And it's where I want my kids to have a beautiful, thriving, wonderful community to grow up in and thrive in and nurture their lives.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to episode 3 of Behind What Matters. I'm Matt Wiedrich, Executive Director of Jefferson Matters Main Street, and we have Molly Cunningham and Peg Raney here with us. And today we are talking about the Mahanay Memorial Carillon Tower, a.k.a. the Bell Tower. And that is its official name, which we obviously don't get into every time we describe it. Locally, it's the Bell Tower. The festival's named the Bell Tower Festival. So today we're going to learn a little bit about why these gals are involved in the tower and all the things it means to the community and what it's meant to the community for 60 years now. And what's happening these days, some of its evolution and things coming up about it. So the community of Jefferson has won some fun awards the last several years for a few of the highlights. 2021, the tower itself from Travel Iowa, it was named the Outstanding Tourism Attraction. 2022, the community was designated an Iowa Great Place. In 2023, it was designated a Thriving Community. 2024, Jefferson won the Outstanding Tourism Community. And then in 2025, a Great American Main Street Award. So that's a fun list of several of our fun accolades here in recent years. So I'm curious, in your minds, what has the tower done to contribute to this? What role has the tower played in Jefferson, its growth, and how it's been utilized and been a part of these recognitions that we've had? Molly, you get to go first.
To get people to travel to your town, you need to make it a destination. If you're looking for individuals that live over half an hour away, you need to get them to come to your town, and they want to spend at least 3 hours here for them to decide that traveling 1 hour is worth it. So everyone has that niche, what they're looking for. We actually have a lot of people that maybe travel to Jefferson for chiropractors. They travel for certain family events, different sporting activities people travel to Jefferson for. But you need to make it a destination, and you need to have multiple things for people to be able to do. So I think every niche, every event, every attraction that people can go to helps to make Jefferson a destination. And it also helps that it's kind of tall, and people tend to see that. Mm-hmm. And it draws you to the town. When I lived out of town for about 8 years, I would say I was from Jefferson, and people would say, oh, that's the Bell Tower town. Mm-hmm. And it helps, brings you here if there's lots to do.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think just the uniqueness of it, people that have been here a long time just remember, well, it's there. But people that have visited will always remember having going up in the tower. I think just as these different awards came about, I think a lot of it was the video coverage of people being able to go up in an elevator in a 1966 building. That was pretty amazing. But so it's accessible to everybody, and go up, and then to be able to see all the countryside. You can do that in cities, but there aren't very many rural communities that you go and take a look around. And then they added rooftop art or a scavenger hunt from all those different cool things that you don't get a chance to see everywhere else. Our staff is outstanding. They have taken hospitality training. I just think they give a great first impression. So that has attracted TV stations because they're so good at speaking about the tower and telling about the history and everything. I just think it's been impressive as one of the many things that can happen in Jefferson.
I agree. I think that it's not its own isolated thing to do, like you both recognized. It's one of several great things, and it does have a high visibility from a ways away, which is cool. And now it looks neat on Friday and Saturday nights, and it's just kind of a draw. And it's it's like, what do you do with this thing? Well, you take people up in there, and then we've got creative, like you said, Peg, and utilize this asset we have. And you're looking down on beautiful downtown, and like, hey, we could do even more with this downtown, and start adding more artwork, which we'll come back to here in just a little bit. Okay, I'm curious about personally how you guys got involved. So I want to know how you got involved with the tower, and what has your experience been like so far? Because Molly is the tour coordinator, helps coordinate staffing and all that good stuff, and then Peg is the board president of the Bell Tower Community Foundation Board. So Peg, how did you get involved with the board, and what has this experience been like, and maybe what's the role of the board?
Okay. Well, actually, I got involved when my last son graduated from high school. Most of my activities were involving activities for my kids. Through school, through sports, through music, through anything like that. But then when they went on their way and it was empty nest, I could decide what I wanted to be involved in. And so I approached Carol Custer, who was on the board at that time, and just said, I think I want to, learn a little bit more about the tower and the bells. At that time, there were only 14 bells. And so we started on this long journey for a number of years to figure out how we could get to a full carillon. It was called a carillon, but we just had a chime, basically, with 14 bells. As far as the history of the foundation, I know the Board of Supervisors own the tower. That was given in the will of Floyd and Dora Mahaney, that they would operate and maintain the tower. But the Chamber of Commerce has historically been involved with helping to staff. And because they were promoting the community, that's how they got involved, Chamber of Commerce. Well, the chamber director at that time was Sandy Ehrig, and she decided it was time to form a group of people who really would focus on the marketing of the tower, the staffing of the tower, and any enhancements like additional bells would be. So I think that was in the late 80s when that was established, and there's been a lot of people involved on that foundation board for a number of years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Sandy and Carol Custer, both instrumental ladies that played a big part in the tower being what it is today, and the interactions we have with it today.
That's right. They both could see a vision beyond what we could.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you. Molly, how'd you get involved?
And I was born and raised here. So I feel like the bell tower in Jefferson has always been a part of my identity. I graduated from Iowa State with a degree in event management, and was told in a number of ways to be successful in the event/tourism hospitality industry. You got to go to a big town, got to go to a big city. No one's hosting their events in smaller places. And I'm like, I'm small town. I thought, I don't want to go to a big city. So I was determined to find a way to do events, do tourism, but also keep my love of small town and small communities. And I was lucky enough, after about 8 years of being in the Ames area, I was lucky enough that Jefferson Matters was interested in having someone come back to do events, tourism, etc. So I spent a little while learning about how Jefferson is not only my small hometown, but it is also a tourist destination. Mm-hmm. And we need these people coming and visiting our town. We want to show them what we're proud of. And it also, I think there's a large percentage of people that tour, like they visit the place they're going to live as a tourist first. And we want people to move here. I want more people in our community. So we want to make it look nice when they come as a tourist. We want them to have attractions to visit. And so then I have 2 kids. I had my second child and took some time to spend with number 2, and actually got a call from Peg saying maybe I'd be interested in spending some time at the tower, helping with the tower. So I've been blessed to look at Jefferson in different ways as someone representing Jefferson Matters and representing like the town and county as a whole, and also the perspective of being an attraction itself. Mm-hmm. And I love being able to, I feel protective of the bell tower now. Mm-hmm. I feel a pride, I feel protective over it, and I love being able to share it with anyone interested in coming and visiting.
Ding, ding, ding. That was a great.
Yeah.
We hit the jackpot with Molly getting involved. And I think just having that perspective of a younger person moving back home or deciding to move to the community. It's so great to have you be involved.
And I get to work with all of my previous teachers. Peg was actually my teacher. Pat Richards, she is my mentor and guide for all things bell tower. She was my teacher.
Awesome.
I work with and it's just, and also just what a wonderful crop of people to be with their teachers. They're nurturing, they're so loving, and I get to come back as an adult and then be friends with them, and I still call them Mrs. Richards. It's a fun...
You don't have to.
Fun. I know. I feel like I have to. It's a fun group of people to also get to be around.
Well, we are, yes, Peg is excellent at talent recruitment, and we were very excited to have you work for us for a while, Molly. You're a great asset, and we're really glad we were able to give you an excuse to come back, and you were a great contributor to the Jefferson Matters family and still continue to be. And now doing your magic to the tower. And I don't know who benefits more from the retired teacher portal, if it's the bell tower, Jefferson Matters, or Deal's Orchard. We all utilize that retired education field in their retirement life to the maximum, and the community is better for it. And typically we see the educators are very proud. They raise the next generation of folks, and they get to work with them now as adults, and more. We all benefit greatly. So I'm curious, Molly, in your time as being a tour guide, what has it been like to meet visitors? Before we went on air today, you were telling us a little bit about getting to work with school kids. They're on field trip season right now, but what's it been like to interact with folks visiting from out of town?
As you said, I had a bunch of littles today, and it's just so funny how it varies from age. We talked about you have little kids come in, and we talk about how the bell tower is about 10 giraffes tall, and we talk about how the bell tower is having a birthday this year, and just the things they notice and that they're excited about. And then when we have a day that some older individuals come in and the different kinds of questions that they ask and the things that they're looking for. And when you go up an elevator, you feel kind of vulnerable when you get to that height. And it's so fun to take people up there and see there's some people that are scared of heights. There's some people that aren't. It's so fun when you get up there, you get kind of secluded up top, and you can get into any kind of conversation. And a lot of times our visitors, they can connect with something, whether they've lived here, whether they've been here or not. There's some sort of connection. There's something when you're up at that height, when you can see so far, everyone can find something that they can connect with. And it's just a fun way. And also we talk about people that come are retired teachers or individuals. It's also just so lovely for our staff and tour guides that we just want to visit with people sometimes, and we just want to talk to people. And so the Bell Tower is a way to get these individuals into our community, and we can yap. We can tell them all about how much we love our town. And
I was going to say, the thing about the tower staff, I think the tour guides that people don't fully recognize and appreciate, is that you all have to be, gosh, you're somewhat into like being into real estate and the local shopping expert and food critics and all the recreation and all the tourism idea. I mean, you need to be knowledgeable about all of those things, because people will ask you such a plethora of questions, and you want to help them get the most out of being here. And you're helping them fall in love with the community. I mean, that's really, we know that from all of our professional staff are so proud of the community. And like Peg mentioned, this is often the first impression for people. They're coming here and boom, they know the thing they want to do first is hit the bell tower. And so to be able to provide that all-encompassing, welcoming experience really is that you guys are ambassadors for the community as much as anything. And there's, like you said, there's tons of things to learn about the tower itself. But then, you're up there literally with the bird's eye view of the community. And when we have folks in town that are here for certain things, love starting at the tower, because you get that overview, that bird's eye view to really kind of drive where the rest of the day is going to go. So kudos to y'all, because I think people don't totally understand and value how much information you're giving out and what a warm reception you're offering to the general public and to our visitors. So now the tower is open 7 days a week, 10 to 4. Tell us about why people should visit right now, Peg.
Well, it's a beautiful time of year. I hope it's not raining. We love to have the rain, but it's an indoor experience. So even if it is a windy, cold day, you can go in the tower. People should just, kids enjoy it so much. If you're a grandma, like I am, and that's one of the first places we go every time the kids come. And they want to go more than once. It's not like I've been to the tower, I don't need to see that again. They hear the bells. It's the bell tower. We see it on the way into town. I think it's just something memorable that if you get to experience that, like Molly said, with a bunch of littles from a classroom, or your own children to hear their perspective, or your grandkids, or visitors that come to town too. I just had some friends come from Kansas City who hadn't been here for about 20 years. And they went up in the tower, and her husband had never been there. And I said, so when you look out the window, what do you really think about? And he said, this is what I picture a rural Iowa community to be. And it looks like to me people care about their community. Everything is so clean and taken care of. And there's activity all around the square and out beyond. I love to look at the all times of the year. Now everything's just getting green, and the planters are planting in the rural area. There's just a lot of activity to see.
What is your favorite season, do you think, Peg, to be up in the tower?
I love the fall.
Fall, yeah, that's
and
a hard
I
one to
think
beat.
that's why we added October. After I retired, I realized there were a lot of people that travel the Lincoln Highway. They just get in their car in the middle of the week and they just drive around, and they like to experience things. Who knew that was a thing? And they do in droves. And this is a a great place to stop and see in the fall, spring, summer.
Every season offers a little something different, doesn't it? Yeah,
That's right.
I agree. The fall is pretty hard to beat, though. It is beautiful up there. You can see colors all directions. Hey, Molly, what about you? What is your favorite time of year to be up there? And then can you add on some of the hours maybe for the Bell Tower Festival? Is the tower going to be open extra? So 2 parts.
I would say, well, speaking of festival, I would say June. I've also realized living in town, Jefferson has a lot of peonies. They're everywhere. They bloom in June. And I feel like it's so lush and lively and vibrant.
There's a delicious peony right across the street from the bell tower itself.
That also has peonies on there.
Yes,
Some
yes, that's right.
a wonderful painting and painting
Shout
on
out
the
to the
roof
peony.
as well. Yeah. So it's just so lush in June, and everything is blooming and waking up for the summer. You have the Bell Tower Festival, which we will be open later. I'm trying to think. It's like 8:30.
Yes, on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. And I think Thursday we'll be there till like 7:30, kind of during that community afternoon. So we'll be up there a little bit later. And yeah, come. It's the Bell Tower Festival.
Yeah.
Come up to the tower. Come see all the people, all the ants walking around on the.
And then
It's
we
fun.
probably should mention about the bells ringing all day long. You can come and experience the bells throughout the day from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. It plays throughout the day.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that in 1 second. I was
Okay.
going to tell folks that if you want to know more about the Bell Tower Festival, check out our previous episode with Philip Heisterkamp. We do a deep dive on the festival itself, and you can find them online, and all the scheduling is out right now of all the activities and parade stuff and how to sign up for all the things. So check that out. Okay, Peg, you mentioned the bells ringing.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of the rundown about the how and when. Like when do they start in the morning? When do they end in the evening? How often do they why do they chime? What music plays and when? And how is that decided?
Well, there was a will by Floyd Mahanay that directed the kinds of music that was to be played. And so we adhered to that pretty, with patriotic music, sacred music, and then secular, it's fine. So we have a good combination of things. It starts at 8 in the morning, and the Westminster chimes play the hour, quarter hour, half hour, all the way through. People will recognize that. And then it was determined that just after the hour, about 5 after the hour, 2 songs would play. And they play on the real bells. The new system with the 47 bells has the ability, it's like a computer. So it plays the real bells. So you're hearing that now that we have that. So Bill Monroe is another volunteer who changes the category of kinds of songs. So you may hear songs that are summer songs or songs that are particular for Christmas or a season. So he changes those from time to time. And then we start the day with the Jefferson chimes and end the day with the Jefferson chimes. A few years ago, we had a contest, and Jennifer Powers wrote a song, kind of like an anthem, and we had a number of entries for it, so we had to hear all these on the bells, and we chose this Jefferson chimes. So it starts the day right after 8 o'clock and is the last song that you'd hear at night, 8 p.m. And then do you want me to talk about the Mahanay Maestros? Because that's pretty cool.
Please do. I was going to ask next. Explain to folks that they're how does this music even get made? And it's not. No, we're not dinging bells. We're not pulling on ropes. But what is the function of this? And then how do you decide who gets to play that thing?
All right. Well, there were a lot of background that happened when we decided to go towards having a 4-octave carillon. We had to determine whether we wanted a real traditional one, like Iowa State has, that has a carillioneer who has been trained to play that, because it's not an easy instrument to play. Or the Verdon Company had this option of a keyboard, and that anyone with 2 years of piano experience would be able to do that. Well, as a teacher in the school system and being involved in the community, I can just we could name off 20 people who were musicians right away. So we gathered them and started coming up with an idea of how we could get, we want people to be involved in the bell tower. When somebody has a connection, they tend to care about it a lot more. And so it was Becky Greiner who came up with the idea of calling them Mahanay Maestros, and her husband Alan said, how about Tower Tunes Live? He came up with that little tagline. So we put those together in the first year, right in 2017. We tried to have somebody play them every day. And for a couple years we did that. So volunteers would come from 12:15 to 12:30. Then the pandemic came, and so then now we've just kind of backed off to a live concert with the Mahanay Maestro at 12:15 to 12:30 on Wednesdays. And then there's other special times that we have concerts too. How can people do that? Well, if you have 2 years of experience, we have a application form on the website under get involved, I think, be a maestro, and it needs to be approved by the supervisors, and then they get trained to how to turn it on. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's just that you're playing for the whole community. That's kind of awesome in two different ways, scary and awesome.
It's great.
But they're all great.
So this keyboard, if you've stepped into the atrium of the bell tower, it is just above you. There's about a half floor there,
right?
And and you'll see railing, and it's just up there. There's a little spot, a little nook where folks sit and play. So very cool. Not everybody understands the kind of guts behind the hows of it, and that's fun. So that was a huge, like you've mentioned, the addition of all the bells and making it for Carillon, and a huge effort by the foundation itself on a fundraising endeavor, and really changed the life of the tower because it was recorded music prior to that, aside from some of the chimes and things, right?
Right. Yeah. The Westminster chimes were always those 14 bells, but all the other music was just a track being played off a speaker.
Sure.
So this gives us some authenticity that it's real bells being played, and I think people are happy to know that real people from our community, or even here June 3rd, Shelby Sievers Van Nordstrom, who is a music professor at Iowa State University, signed up because she is a Mahanay Maestro, and she'll be playing the bells on that Wednesday from 12:15 to 12:30. Marty McGinn has played. We've had people come back to play, as well as Rick Moraine. Whenever we need somebody to play, he and Rena Lane are more than happy to do that. You'll enjoy looking at the names of the people that play.
It's very fun. And in my ongoing quest to always mix a bird fact into every one of these podcasts, when we switched over to the real bells, it solved a big issue of the turkey vultures that continued to roost on the tower, and kind of would be a problem, for reasons we don't have to get into in depth here. But as the bells actually chimed, the resignation of the bells was enough to, if one or two lands on there, that's within the next, within the hour of the music playing, it always kicks them off of there. So that was a nice way to problem solve that when we got the bells the way we wanted them anyway.
Right.
Okay, as we're getting ready to wrap up here, we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the tower being in existence. So can you guys talk a little bit about some of the things coming up? And there's going to be a little celebration in October. And what are some things that we have to look forward to as we're getting ready to kick off the tourist season here? And what are things, and why should people come to the tower, and how are we celebrating 60th this year?
Yeah, come visit. We're going to be there every day. So come join us. Come check out the tower. Take a ride to the top. Kids 18 and under are free to get into the tower, and that is thanks to our local chiropractors. We've got their names on the door, so we're so fortunate to be able to let the kids go up for free. And it's $5 a person for adults to come visit. We also have season passes. Those are $25. You can buy them when you get there. We have some individuals that like to come watch the trains. They have train schedules, so they get a season pass. And when you're ready to come check it out, come take a ride to the top every day, 10 to 4. And the tower was dedicated October 16th in 1966. So we're celebrating our 60th birthday. So
Awesome.
expect a party, expect something fun. October time, we'll do it around that date. We also have Peg brought in the program from that original dedication.
Yes.
Wow.
So
We found that.
Yeah. So we kind of have some nostalgia planned as well. So
Very fun.
we'll let you know, but make sure you put that on your calendars. The Bell Tower turned 60 this year.
Turns 60,
it's
and you get to
awesome.
celebrate when the fall colors are going to be coming on, and it'll be great. So you've got plenty of time to be thinking about that. Mark your calendars. The newest rooftop art is coming here
Yes.
as we are recording this. Between now and airtime, we should hopefully be having this installed on the west side of the square. So if you haven't been up in a little bit, you'll have a whole new reason to join these gals. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., 7 days a week. If you have a really important reason you need to be there off hours, there's a phone number on the door that rings our office. We try to accommodate you. Molly's great about helping out folks or finding one of the other tour guides, or somebody from the Jefferson Matters office over at TJ Gardens can help you as well. So put the Mahanay Bell Tower on your things to do this summer. Find your way to Jefferson if you are watching from out of town. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff so you know when these come out, and share with your friends. Well, I'd like to thank Peg and Molly for joining us on this episode of Behind What Matters. And make sure you head over to the Bell Tower's social media pages and their website, which is mahanaybelltower.org. And of course, the Jefferson Matters socials and our website of experiencejeffersonoiowa.com. And certainly don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're watching this so you know when the next one's coming along. And I want to thank you for joining us to find out why the Mahanay Bell Tower matters. We'll catch you next time.